Hello and welcome to the third edition of our mock draft here at the US Sun. I'm David Scott. Alongside me is NFL expert Ryan Sanudo. We've done two of these previously. In the first edition, I took the odd picks, Ryan took the evens. Last edition, we switched it up. Ryan took the odds, I took the evens. So this time we're going to go back to what we did in the first edition. I'm going to start at the number one pick. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. The NFL draft is already a week away. Let's get into it.
All right, so starting at number one, it's pretty easy. It's going to be Fernando Mendoza. I don't think I need to say anything else about it.
I don't need to say anything either. Mendoza's going number one. With the number two pick for the New York Jets, I think they're taking Arvell Reese. The national media is saying Bailey with this pick, and the Jets beat is saying Arvell Reese, but I'm going to side with the Jets beat here. I mean, Aaron Glenn can use Reese in a lot of areas. He can have him defending the run, off-ball linebacker. There's just so many options, and then eventually he can be a really good pass rusher. So he's younger than Bailey. I get it. Bailey has the pass rushing abilities to be a 10, 12 sack guy, but I really like Arvell Reese. His tape is phenomenal. They take him with number two.
Yeah, I don't think Bailey is the kind of guy the Jets need yet. The pro-ready thing is not what the Jets need quite yet. Now, here at number three for the Cardinals, if Reese was here, I would take Reese, but he's not. So I'm going to stick with what I've been doing for the Cardinals a lot, which is offensive line, and go Francis Mauigoa out of Miami. I think as you're building up a new team, a new franchise, you don't have your quarterback. You really want to solidify that offensive line first. So if you get in an anchor like Francis Mauigoa, who I think is going to be a really good player, that's going to help put a good situation for your next quarterback, who they're likely not getting in this draft.
Oh, I totally agree. Now, for the Titans, I was having Jeremiah Love with this pick, but now that David Bailey is still on the board, I'm taking David Bailey with this pick. Robert Saleh, the head coach, he's defensive-minded. They would like, pass rushers on that team, so I think it would just make a ton of sense. I think Bailey's going 2 to 4. I don't think he's going to 5 or later, so I think this would be a solid pick for Tennessee, and it would help the defense a lot, because the defense, it was pretty good, but I think the edge rusher position is very key for Tennessee.
Yeah, I think David Bailey, if he's on the board here, you got to snap him up. Now, at number 5, I think the Giants are going to go with someone from Ohio State. Is it Sonny Styles? Is it Carnell Tate? The whole time I've been saying Sonny Styles, and I'm going to stick with it. I think he is just going to be a almost generational type of talent at linebacker there. He is a physical freak. He has great ball skills. He's really good at coming down on the ball. I think he is a full package and can just help enhance a Giants defense that is already really, really good.
John Harbaugh has already had, great linebackers like Roquan Smith, so this would make a ton of sense for the Giants. For the Cleveland Browns at number 6, they really love wide receivers, apparently. Peter Schrager said that the other day, so I'm going to take Carnell Tate with this number 6 pick. They don't have wide receivers other than, I think, Jerry Jeudy. Other than that, it's a little bit suspect. So I was thinking of the quarterback, but obviously it's Mendoza, and then there's really a fall off from there. So I think the Browns take Tate with his pick.
Tate is just going to be a really solid guy at the wide receiver position. I think anyone would be really happy to get him. Number 6 is a really good spot. At 7, Jeremiah Love's still here. Do we want to take him? No, I don't actually. I'm going to go with Ruben Bain here at number 7. Bain, there's a little bit of character concern. We saw a pretty concerning report come out about him from a few years ago. We won't dive into that too much. Still, I think he's a really good player, and if he has been vindicated of those concerns, possible legal concerns, then I think he still goes in this range. Now, if more stuff comes out as we get closer to draft day, all right, maybe he starts falling further down the board. But at this point, we know he's a really solid player. He is just an absolute grinder off the edge, and he is going to be taking down the quarterback a lot.
I think this is the range Bain's going to go, probably 8 or 9. I see those two places as options for Bain, but that's not a bad pick for number 7. For number 8 for the Saints, I think they're taking wide receiver, and Jordan Tyson, I think that's the guy for the Saints. I think they've been looking at him. They had a visit with him the other day. I think he's going to be in this range, and I think his potential is just off the charts. He can actually be the best wide receiver when it's all said and done. It's just the injury history that's obviously a huge thing, and teams are very varying with their opinions. Some teams are like, oh, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole, and other teams are like, oh, I would take him top 6, top 8. I was almost going to say top 6, top 7. Stop myself, but I just said it. So, but I think Jordan Tyson, number 8, good move for them.
Yeah, Tyson, you're right. The potential is through the roof with him. If he gets those injuries under control, he's going to be a really good ball player. Okay, so here at the number 9 pick, Jeremiah Love makes it, but they snap up Kenneth Walker. So you don't really see that being this situation here. So Mekhi Lemon's still on the board. I think that's a really good option for the Chiefs. Their receiving core has been all right, but never really great since Tyreek Hill left. Now with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and then Mekhi Lemon, I think you could have a really good unit when Mahomes comes back from his injury. You go right back for your Super Bowl push. You got an offense that can really make some noise in what maybe will be Travis Kelce's last year, but we've been saying that for the last 5 years. So I think Mekhi Lemon would be really interesting, and I think he could quickly become the top wide receiver in that offense.
Oh, he's very shifty, very slippery. I think that would be a great option for Andy Reid, and that could help them get back to Super Bowl. You never know. Number 10 for the Cincinnati Bengals, I keep seeing cornerback here, and I agree. I think You see Jeremiah Love, but they have Chase Brown. I think the Bengals take Delane with this number 10 pick. Look, I think the Dolphins are probably wanting him at 11. But for the Bengals, they need quarterback help. They need a lot of help on defense, but the secondary, for the most part, is a big need for Cincinnati. Delane is almost only one of the best cornerbacks in this draft, if not the best. Very sound with his mechanics, and he's so good. I think, he'll be a top corner. I think he'd be a top 10 cornerback when it's all said and done. So the Bengals, they're lucky taking him at number 10.
Yeah, Delane is my gem of this class. He is the guy that I obviously really want for my Dolphins, but I think he is going to be one of the best players in this class. I see him as a top 5 guy in this class, and then, going into the league, becoming a top 10, 12 guy pretty soon. So the Dolphins miss out on him. They still need a lot of help in the secondary. Caleb Downs is on the board. We're going to go ahead and snap him up. He's got some problems with the knees. We know that, but he's just such a good player. I mean, injuries aside and position aside, he's a top 5 talent in this class just based on his production and the things he can do on the football field. I think you're happy to get him here at 11. Sure, we might see some problems with the injury going forward, but I think it's worth taking him just for that potential.
I agree. I think Caleb Downs, I had him getting there to the Cowboys, so they definitely miss out on that. Number 12, I mean, I see these guys, and like Jeremiah Love is just sitting there. I know they have Javonte Williams, but he looked good last year, but I think they're the type, Jerry Jones, he just surprises everyone at the draft. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Love here. I don't think Love is falling here, by the way. I think he's going to be earlier, but for him to still be on the board, I think it would make a ton of sense. I mean, it would only make an offense only one of the best in the league. I know they signed Javonte Williams to a 3-year contract, but hey, it's cuttable after 1 year. You take Jeremiah Love with this pick. They love to make splashy moves. CeeDee Lamb at the time 4 years ago. So I think this makes a ton of sense, for the future rather than in the present. I think Jeremiah Love still should get, obviously, a lot of run in that offense, but that's just a thing where, you get him at a contract at the 12th pick compared to top 4, top 5. I think this makes sense.
A situation that many aren't expecting seeing him at 12, but I think if the Cowboys find him there, just grab him. You worry about the Javonte Williams contract later because Jeremiah Love, in my opinion, is probably the best player in this class. So I would love to get him at 12 if I was the Cowboys. All right, number 13, I'm expecting a wide receiver to get here for the Rams. 3 are already off the board, so I got to pivot away from that. I think I'm going to go over to the offensive tackle position, get them some depth, get them a solid player for the future. I'm going to go with Monroe Freeling. He's really been one of the biggest risers throughout this entire draft class, and I think he can really stick at the left tackle position. That is the most valuable position on the offensive line, one of the most valuable positions in the offense, and I think Freeling has the size, has the ability to stick there and do it well. A lot of these offensive tackle prospects in this class, there are concerns about them moving inside of the guard position. Freeling, I don't expect that at all.
Oh, and you need depth. I mean, with Matthew Stafford, he's old, and you can't have 1 or 2 guys go down, and then you have backups, and they're going to be terrible. So Freeling is just a guy that you're going to trust, for the future, obviously. But what if a couple guys get hurt? He's there to replace them. So number 14, Baltimore Ravens. They do have a need a wide receiver, but those top 3 have gone off the board. I like a cornerback here. I think McCoy with the number 14 pick makes a ton of sense just for the fact I don't think they have really a future in terms of their cornerbacks. I don't think they really have a pairing for the future. I know Wiggins has looked good, but Humphrey struggled a little bit, and I just think McCoy, he has the potential of being the best cornerback in this draft. And I think you saw a 2024 season. It was just phenomenal. He was the best corner 2 years ago. Obviously, there's concerns with his injury history, the ACL injury, but they look at that stuff, and if he's good to go, he's good to go. And I think 14, I think this is right around the range where I think he gets picked.
Yeah, Jermod McCoy, we didn't see him on the field, but man, if he was, I think he would be that top corner off the board. He's just so talented. At 15, the Buccaneers, a lot of people are expecting this to be the Kenyon Sadiq spot. It's not for me. And I really think I want more from their defense before I see a pick on the offense. And I'm going to go with Akeem Mesidor out of Miami. Now, he's a little bit older. He's 25 going into his first season. So that is pretty old for a defensive prospect. But, I mean, you look at his production on the field. He is an absolute game wrecker. Put up some better stats than Ruben Bain on that Miami defense. He looked really good throughout the playoff. I love this guy as a prospect. The only difference is his age. Now, at number 15, I think you're okay looking past that age, and I think he's going to be able to get on that line and immediately produce because he's got a lot of experience in college. So I'm okay with that at this spot. I'm really excited about the things that he can do on the defensive line, and you keep him in Florida.
For number 16, my New York Jets, if one of those top 3 wide receivers that we picked is on the board, they take him. Omar Cooper is getting a lot of, hype right now. He was really good in the pro day. He looked really good last year, only helping the Hoosiers win a national title. I think the Jets take Cooper. Apparently, there's reports they really love him as a prospect. The yards after the catch are phenomenal. I think at first I was a little like, it's a little too early, number 16, but hey, you're close. You're pretty close to 20, and I think that's right around the range that analysts have him going. So I think Cooper is an option here. I think Thieneman is actually an option, intriguing option for the Jets too. And if, McCoy was on the board, I think they would take him too. They looked at him. But Cooper, I think, makes a ton of sense. Him and Garrett Wilson would be a great pairing. Cooper for the Jets.
Yeah, Omar Cooper is one of my favorite prospects in this class, and I'm glad that he's getting a lot of love recently. And yeah, at 16, I think that'll be a really good pick for the Jets. At 17, for the Lions, there's a couple different places you could go with this one. Tackle, I think, is pretty important for them. Defensive line, we could look at. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm going to go with C.J. Allen, the linebacker out of Georgia. I think he's just a solid ball player, and I think Dan Campbell really likes to utilize his linebackers out there on the defense. And so, I think you just get him in there, try and solidify that defense a little bit more. The Lions get into a lot of shootouts. I want a little bit more defensive help there, and sure, their secondary is sometimes a problem, but I think right now you get that middle of the field a little bit more secure. I'm happy with that. Their offense is really solid. We don't really need to make any huge improvements there. I think you can get a solid offensive tackle further down the board.
I think C.J. Allen is probably the most IQ linebackers entering this draft. And look, I think he's going to be having the green dot too, so he's going to be very good in that aspect. So, and he's good against the run, so I do like that pick for the Lions. For number 18, I have Dylan Thieneman going to number 18. I think the first mock draft that we had, I had him going early at number 18 at the time. It was a little bit early at first, but I think right now, I think for mock drafts, he's projected to go there almost all the time. Like, look, I get number 18 is very hard to predict, but they need safety help. I mean, Harrison Smith, he's probably going to retire after the season, so he would just be the safety for the future and for Brian Flores. So I think this makes too much sense. He's getting mocked here so many times, and I think this helps the defense so much.
Yeah, Dylan Thieneman is an absolute ball hawk. I mean, his ability to read the ball in the air is incredible, and I think he would be such a good addition for Brian Flores-led defense. All right, 19 for the Panthers. This will be my Kenyon Sadiq spot.
Ooh.
I think this is really a perfect situation for him to go to. Now the Panthers, they're getting a lot of help for Bryce Young. You got the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Tedero McMillan. You got another potential Offensive Rookie of the Year in Kenyon Sadiq. You're really beefing up this offense for a team that snuck into the playoffs last year. I think they could be more comfortably into that position if they get a skill position player like Kenyon Sadiq.
Oh, in my mock draft, I have Sadiq going here too. I think this makes a lot of sense for the Panthers. They like to have more pass catchers. I think wide receiver could be an option too. But Sadiq is there for the taking. You grab him. For the number 20 for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to go Keldrick Falk with this pick. I mean, we had a Love going there at number 12, so they need defense desperately. I mean, I think they're going to take defense at the end of the day for both picks. But for here, number 20, I think he's going to be so great off the edge. He's explosive. I just think having him and then Quinnen Williams on that defense will really help that front. They obviously need help, linebacker, safety. That's a story for another day. Maybe address that, later in the draft. But Keldrick Falk here, I like it for number 20.
All right, number 21, this is where we start getting into the range of potentially a Ty Simpson spot. Now, I can't take Ty Simpson just yet because I am not sure if Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. If Aaron Rodgers is going to be back, I say slam dunk, yes, we take Ty Simpson and let him learn behind a Hall of Fame quarterback. We don't know if he's back yet, so I'm just going to go simple and take Spencer Fano at offensive tackle. I think just beef up that line, which has been really rocky in the past, and we saw that line get devoured by the Houston Texans in the playoffs. So get a little bit more help there. Spencer Fano, I'm not sure if he's going to stick at the tackle position, but I think he's going to be a solid guy on either guard, center, or tackle if he's able to land there. So I'm happy with that for the Steelers. I think this pick could change a bit once we figure out if Aaron Rodgers is going to be on that offense. But regardless, I think even if he is or isn't, Spencer Fano is a good pick here.
Number 22 for the Chargers, I'm gonna have them take T.J. Parker edge over here. I mean, look, I know they re-signed Khalil Mack, but he's old. He's 35. Obviously, he's still productive, but you like to have a guy on the edge too. And they lost Adafe in the offseason too. So I think the Chargers defense was pretty good last year, but I think having another guy like T.J. Parker would really help. And, Clemson product, he looked really good. I think he had a little bit of, rough going at the end, but he looked really good in Senior Bowl. And there's so many aspects that you got to love from him. So I think Chargers, they grab him.
All right, I'm going to continue being the offensive tackle guy today. I'm going to take Caden Proctor here for the Philadelphia Eagles. Proctor is one of my favorite prospects just because he is an absolutely massive dude. He looks like he could maul anyone coming at him, and I think the Eagles like that kind of stuff on their offensive line. Obviously, we know about the tush push. They like having size in there, and Proctor can be a game wrecker on the offensive side of the ball, so I think he's going to be really good at protecting Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be really good in those tush push situations and opening up some gaps for Saquon Barkley. I think this is a really solid pick for the Eagles.
Oh, I agree with offensive line. I think you're going to see 8 or 9 guys go off the board in the first round. So I think there's going to be a ton of offensive line. I mean, it's a really, obviously a big need for a lot of teams in this league that, in 2026. So it makes a lot of sense there. Number 20. All right, number 24, Cleveland. They took in our mock draft Cardinal Tate at number 6. So I think they need offensive line help. I think Vega makes a lot of sense coming out of Penn State. He's probably going to be the best guard out of this draft. And I think in my mock draft, I have him going number 15. So I think he's going to go probably top 20. But if he's still there, I think the Browns would just run to the phone and take him. So I think having him in Cleveland, I think they need one. I think they have a couple positions in the offensive line they need help at. I think a left tackle position, then another guard position. He would step in and really help whoever is at quarterback.
Yeah, the Browns notably had their entire offensive line depart the team in free agency. I don't know if they retained any of them, but all of them hit free agency. They're going to have to rebuild that line. Vegayon is going to be a very good option there. I think if he wasn't a guard, he would be even more highly valued. But that guard position is a little bit less valuable than the tackle position. Mm-hmm. So, but still, he's a very, very good ball player. All right, the Chicago Bears here at 25. I kind of bounce back and forth between a guy on the defensive line or a guy in the secondary. And I think with how much he's been rising lately, I'm going to go with Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I think safety is a good position for the Bears to clean up. They've had some issues over the top with the deep ball, things like that. I think Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is just a solid ball player. He's a guy that's going to be able to go in there, immediately start producing. He's a pretty good ball hawk. He's got good tackling skills, and I really like him to the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears had a little bit of trouble in the secondary for the Bears and the edge, but I think McNeil-Warren, I have him going in the top 20, I think, or around there. So I think this would be a steal for the Bears. Number 26, I have them taking Malachi Lawrence. I think he's getting a lot of stock. His stock is rising recently, and I've been seeing a lot of mocks. I think Brugler from The Athletic has him going there. I'm going to agree with him. I think they need help on that defensive front on the edge rush position. He's very physical, but his profile is a little bit small, but I think his physicality will be really tremendous, in this league. And on that 3-4 defense, Jim Leonard is the new defensive coordinator. I think it makes a ton of sense for the Bills at number 26.
Okay, yeah, I think this is a bit of a considerable reach for Malachi Lawrence. I think he's a decent ball player, but I don't know if I would grab him in the first round. I think when you got Cassius Howell and guys like I guess it is just kind of Cassius Howell here, but yeah. I think with Cassius Howell on the board, I would grab him over Malachi Lawrence. I just think there's better value there and a little bit better production. All right, at 27, I was going to go with Vegayon if he got here, but now he does not end up getting there. But I do think the offensive line is still going to be something that you want for the 49ers. We're not sure about our left tackle position. I'm going to go with Blake Miller. I think snags your pick.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Blake Miller. I think, he's just a fundamental guy. He has really got his just skills down pat. I think his size is good. I think he's going to be plug and play at this position. You really just don't need to sweat it when he gets here.
So you took my pick. I was going to have Blake Miller going to 28, but Houston Texans, they still got a guy by the name of Maxi Hanachor out of Arizona State, number 28. Look, I think he's very big. He's very massive size. He actually started football pretty late, I think in 21 or 22. He needs probably a little time to develop, but I think this is more about, 2027, 2028, develop him. Be more accustomed to C.J. Stroud. So I think for the Texans, number 28, they're probably going to take maybe a Blake Miller if he's here or something like that. But I think Arizona State product, I think you'd take him here.
Yeah, he's just a solid guy. All right, the Chiefs, their second pick on the board here. They get this from trading Trent McDuffie to the Los Angeles Rams. I think they go ahead and just replace him with another Clemson cornerback, Avion Terrell. We just did a little X's and O's episode on him. And yeah, I'm really high on Avion Terrell. I really like his ability as not only a cornerback, but as a guy who's able to come down and disrupt the running game and also get to the quarterback. I think Avion Terrell is going to play more as a slot cornerback, but I just really love his abilities. I think he's going to be able to play on the outside. It just depends on what a team wants from him. But regardless, I think 29 is low for him. I think this is probably the range he's going to go, but I'm really high on his skills.
Oh, the Chiefs, I think the three needs are, wide receiver, cornerback, maybe a guy on the edge, and I think cornerback. This is probably the area where they're probably going to take maybe a Hood, which I think the Miami Dolphins are going to do. Number 30, Colton Hood. I think he's my quarterback 3. I think he's going to be more proven at cornerback. He only did it last year. He was the number 1 quarterback with McCoy being out for the season. He only gave up 1 touchdown last year. I mean, he just can travel with wide receivers. So I think the Dolphins would like to have a quarterback. Obviously, you know it. They need secondary help desperately. I mean, there's a lot of positions that they need, but I think Colton Hood, Dolphins cornerback, makes too much sense.
Yeah, I really like this for the Dolphins. Just double dip on secondary. You get Caleb Downs and Colton Hood, and you're really starting to rebuild that unit. That's a lot of fun. All right, for the New England Patriots, the Super Bowl runner-ups, I think Cassius Howell is here. I'm just going to go ahead and take him. They need more on that defensive line. I think they go ahead and grab someone who is just going to be able to produce on that line. They need help on defense. They did not look all that good against the Seattle Seahawks during the Super Bowl. They have a couple of offensive needs, too. You know, they lost Stephon Diggs. They did bring in Romeo Doubs. So you could still maybe see a wide receiver in this position, but I do really think defensive line is where it's going to be.
Hey, I agree. I have Cassius Howell going number 31 to the Patriots, so I agree with that. Number 32, last one. There's so many great players on this board. And for some reason, Casey Concepcion is still here at number 32. I think he's going to go earlier. I think I have him going to the Browns. If I didn't have Tate going number 6, I would have had him going to the Browns. I would have had him in the first round. But Casey Concepcion, look, I know they have JSN, Cooper Kupp, but for him to still be on the board, why not have another wide receiver? I mean, you're only hearing the Rams want wide receivers, and they have Puka and Devontae Adams. So why not have a guy in that offense that can be like a shifty player, a gadget player? This would just be such a great move for them. I think they're an option to trade down. I see the Arizona Cardinals need Ty Simpson. So I could see these picks, 31 and 32, as possible trade down options, and the Cardinals go up and get them. But if that doesn't happen, I think Casey Concepcion is a top third, probably going in the 20s. But if he's still there for number 32, they don't even think about it.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't explore trades at all at any of these mock drafts, but those are so hard to predict.
Yeah.
There's no reason to even go for those. But Casey Concepcion is going to be a really good player. He's really fast, really shifty. I do like him a lot. Just depends on where he ends up going. I do think it is possible that he even doesn't even make it into the first round, but at the same time, I think he could end up in the high teens into the low 20s. So there's a good range for him. It just depends on how the wide receivers fell on the board. And for us, they fell pretty early. So it's going to be a lot different than this.
Oh, definitely.
Or maybe we'll be 100%.
You never know. I mean, I see a lot of teams, like I think from 3 to 7 that want to trade down, but it takes 2 to tango. There might be teams that are just like, we don't want to trade up. This is not that great of a class, which I don't think it's as bad as people say, but I don't think it's that great either. I think this is just an overall okay class. You get some players that can be blue chip players, but overall, I think you're going to see maybe 1 or 2 trade ups, but I think at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be too many trade-ups.
Yeah, when there's only one real quarterback on the board, there's going to be a lot less teams looking to move up and find someone else. All right, that's going to wrap things up for our 3rd edition of the mock draft. You can catch us every Monday for X's and O's still. We'll have other off-season content going on every Thursday. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let us know who's your favorite prospect in the NFL draft.